Shalom. If you ever wonder why my videos be jumping and bouncing and stuff like that, Flint has so many potholes. You know, I know Big Gretch said she was gonna fix the roads, but the roads are the worst I've ever seen in my driving lifetime. Way worse. My main street of driving got so many potholes. But again, that wasn't even what my message is gonna be about. So I'm gonna get on that. On my topic, area of expertise. Roads ain't my expertise, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but anyway. Area of expertise. So I'm one that can say, oh, I got an 800 plus credit score. I don't know what to do with that 800 plus credit score, because I got credit, and stuff like that, like it ain't nothing. Savings and stuff like that. But I know I'm a giver gift, and so I've been giving, and stuff like that, and establishing that. I don't have no problem with that area. I do have a stewardship mindset, so I do know how to say no. But when it comes to relationships, nah, I have no expertise in that. I've been through a lot of them, so up and down, even, my first marriage was a failure. This marriage, 23 years in, and I would say it's going well, but still, it's a challenge, and I'm not always winning. People on the outside would say, oh, you winning in that. But sometimes, it's a struggle for me, because I don't always operate, maximum to me and efficient to me when it comes to loving on my wife and taking care of my household. And not saying that they complain or whatever and say anything wrong, but I let a lot of stuff from my first marriage come into my second. A lot of baggage. And I had to take, responsibility for that. But when it comes to my friend relationships and family relationship, I don't have many close relationships. I have some, and working and trying to, I guess maintain them is, to me sometimes something that causes anxiety. And shouldn't have to worry about nothing. You shouldn't have to walk on eggshells, but a lot of times, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be there. Now, it's funny. I have so many people that always want to give me advice on relationships. And I don't be feeling like their relationships is the most sound or grounded either. But I'm like, okay, I hear you. I'm listening. I've had people, forever in life trying to tell me about, finances. They make more money than me, but they don't know how to save it. They don't, they definitely don't have the same credit score. And I'm not knocking them. I'm not, I guess, sneak dissing them. But I'm like, it's obvious to see that materials matter more to them than they do to me. So I'm like, what are they teaching me? They telling me stuff, or they're trying to, I guess, teach me in an area that I don't believe that they actually have the pedigree to teach me in. I'm like, and that's not no slide. I'm like, I'm what a heavy dude. So I can say, let me see, I weigh about 279, 275 or whatever, and stuff like that, 6'4". So, by doctors, they say I'm obese. But I'm like, I be having folks that I'm like, man, oh, you a vegan? Man, you fat to me as a vegan. I have people that, maybe they are in shape or whatever, but I'm like, man, why are you dealing with all these different health issues and stuff like that? You done been in the hospital and everything else. I ain't never spent the night in the hospital. And so I'm like, man, you want to give me advice, and I'm like, okay. They say, oh, you eat too much. But I'm like, I rarely eat any. I haven't eaten McDonald's in probably a decade. Certain foods I do not eat. I follow the dietary laws and stuff like that, but a lot of fast food stuff I don't eat. And if I do eat fast food, it'd be sporadically. My wife cooks a lot. I eat mostly at home. So, and I make my own pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, I may eat healthy or whatever, eat ice cream, stuff like that. They supposedly eat better than me, but I'm like, man, their health toe up. You forever sick. I'm like, I'm rarely ever sick. I'm like, okay, I used to exercise all the time. I don't do that as much as I used to. I'm slacking on that. So that's true. I am not where I was. But I'm like, man, I know people that exercise all the time, and it's like they still having health issues. I'm like, I'm not better than anybody, but I guess sometimes people want to say, well, you're arrogant or whatever and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, just because I have a level of confidence and, I'm like, I'm seeing what I'm doing as working. And I'm like, okay, you trying to give me advice, but I'm like, I don't even see it working for you. I don't know. I never understood, I can make you rich. Well, you ain't rich. I can make you healthy, but you ain't healthy. I can tell you how to, do better in your relationship. Your marriage is in shambles. How can you? I don't know. And maybe I'm just tripping. I don't have no expertise when it comes to fixing stuff. I don't have no expertise in a lot of areas. My main one that I'm focused on today is relationships. So yes, I'll be struggling in relationships. People who were my friends aren't my friends today. Not by my choosing. Family members don't associate with me. Not by my choosing. Of course, yeah, there was a lot of family members that I did not take my children around and stuff like that, because I didn't want to expose that type of life to my children. But I still tried to come around. I didn't bring my children around, and maybe that bothered them and stuff like that. You think no, I don't think I'm too good, but I don't want the generational curses that I know I operated in to be something that now my children operating in. I'm trying to get them away from that stuff. My family is a matriarchal family, but my household is a patriarchal. So of course it conflicts big time. And so that's gonna have a challenge to the relationships with people. When I speak patriarchy type stuff or whatever, I'm gonna always be the odd man out. My family is Democrat. I don't care for either side. And at a time I did vote Republican. So that irks them. I don't get stuck in no box. I try to do what's best for me and mine. Even what I believe is best for them. But my family does things that they just want to fit in. I'm like, I don't have some of the same codes and same ways of thinking. I'm not black right. Black is always right. I have no loyalty to skin color like that. I really don't. If you wrong, you wrong. People think that I'm a woman hater. No. I'm like, but the ones who've done the most wrong to me, it's been more women did wrong to me than men. Oh, but your father wasn't there. He wasn't there. So in his absence, those that was left around me beat me, mistreated me, did things to me. My father, again, was not there. So he was not able to do none of that stuff to me. But those that were took full advantage and tried to beat the masculine out of me. So, man, all right. I don't know. I'm all over and stuff. Let me get into this J-O-B, journey obviously bound. But shalom.